Hello and welcome to the GBC. I am your host, Nash Kohlberg. Today we have the opportunity to speak to Josh Cleveland, the District Park Supervisor here in Watertown, South Dakota. We are at Pelican State Park.
Yep, Pelican Lake Recreation Area is its title.
Perfect, yeah. Beautiful system out here, so many different amenities. And we're going to be talking to Josh today just about what the GFP is and how that impacts what they do, how that impacts the community around us. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so first off, if you could give the people just a broad overview of what the GFP does, statewide and then more specifically here.
Yeah. So one of our goals as a department, a public service agency, is to connect people and families to the outdoors. So that's even just in our general day-to-day work is what we try to do. What can we do to the park, to lakes, to different game production areas to help provide opportunities for folks to go outside, recreate, connect with their families, or to connect with nature and enjoy and have a good time.
Yeah. What are some of the specific things you do to create that relationship?
Yeah, so I work for the state parks, like you said, District Park Supervisor. So my crew is responsible for the maintenance and operations of 4 state parks: Pelican Lake, Sandy Shore, in here in Watertown, then also Lake Cochran and Hartford Beach. And I mean, whether it's mowing, cleaning bathrooms, upgrading facilities. I mean, we're even on a cabin that the crew just rebuilt the deck on here a few weeks ago to make sure that people can come out and safely recreate, enjoy the outdoors, and get connected to it. That's just a quick blip of things we do. I mean, behind the scenes, we're always looking at what could be the next big amenity to add in the parks. What do we need to modify? What needs to be improved with budget dollars that we don't have, trying to get something requested for the next few years down the road.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the amenities you offer here at Pelican and the other ones around, and how each one kind of differs from each other?
Right, so Pelican Lake is definitely kind of the keystone park, I'd say, for the Watertown area. We've got 87 campsites, 2 camping cabins. There's a 4.5-mile multi-use trail that winds through hundreds of acres of prairie, through some wetlands, trees along the lake shore, providing a number of different views. And that's also open for horseback riding, which is a unique opportunity out here. We've got another easy hiking trail that's gravel. It's about 1.1 miles that winds through some pollinator plots, which are very forb-heavy plantings to promote pollinator species, your bees, butterflies, other insects that are could be threatened, endangered, or just talked about often, which is really cool. I mean, walking through that trail, you get to see all the different native wildflowers as they bloom through the year. And then that ends up at an observation tower back on the end of the trail that overlooks the lake, offers some very beautiful views of the lake.
Yeah.
We've also got a fishing pier right back here behind me there. We've got a number of playgrounds, we've got a picnic shelter, a boat ramp, and then we've recently built a programming center kind of in the middle of the park where our naturalist, full-time naturalist, Cassie, puts on some of her programs, whether that's campfire cooking, some different South Dakota historical or geographical, or even kind of wildlife programs to help try to introduce and connect those kids and families to the outdoors. That's a very unique one that's new to the park. And then up at our park entrance, we've got some archery opportunity. We've got an archery range where folks can shoot anywhere from 10 to 70 yards, either from the ground or from our elevated platform as they're sighting in their bows, getting ready for hunting seasons, what have you. And then there's also a 14-target course that winds through our prairie. And every year, beginning of August, we put out 3D targets out there for folks getting ready for the upcoming hunting seasons as well. And that is a very popular amenity.
Cool. How have you seen, the work you guys do here and all the amenities you offer? How have you seen that impact, the community, tourism-wise, where people are coming from and how you see that impact?
Right. So I got here in the summer of 2015, and we were asked to do a lot of marketing on the park to try to raise awareness for it. And I kind of took a different approach on that. If you build it, they will come, so to speak. So me and my crew spent 3 years going very intense on maintenance and upkeep of all our facilities to get the park nice. And the word of mouth and response from that did numbers on it without us even really trying to market yet. When I got here, our visitation for Pelican alone was in that 47,000 folks a year. This year we're going to push 85 to 90,000
Wow.
visitors just at Pelican. If you add another 28,000 visitors for Sandy Shore, that's a lot of folks that come out to our parks right here in Watertown. I know about 20% or so of our campers are non-residents, and about 50 to 70% of our campers are from outside of Cottington County, bringing a lot of folks to the area.
Wow, that's incredible. Why are you so passionate, or why do you love what you do in terms of conservation, maintenance, everything?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I got to go to a few state parks in Minnesota, actually, with my grandparents and my parents, and really loved the experiences of camping, going on hikes, doing things with the park ranger to become a junior naturalist. And I kind of forgot about that until I went to college and was looking for different routes where I could work outdoors. Ended up transferring down to Mount Marty in Yankton, and they had a recreation management and tourism program, and it kind of culminated into a couple years of internship at Lewis and Clark Recreation Area. And I tell you what, just how fun the campers and park visitors are drew me to that. And the variety of work. I mean, any day I could be sitting down chatting with you, mowing leaves, meeting with my staff, leading an archery program, just a variety of tasks. It's very challenging, which is attractive to me, but on the customer service side of things, people are always happy and excited to come out here, and it's hard to not love a job where you get to just deal with smiling faces every day, and knowing that you had an impact in helping make those smiling faces and watch people make memories because of what you do.
Right. And more so on the conservation side, I know you're more so on the park side, but on the conservation side, not only coming to these parks, but the work GFP does for stocking these lakes and maintaining the ground they own to get to give those people an enjoyable experience. Can you explain that a little bit and what all they do and that goes into that?
Yeah, absolutely. We all try to work together between Parks and Wildlife and the fisheries staff. The fisheries staff, every summer and fall, they survey a number of lakes just to test net them to see what the numbers of walleyes, perch, and other species are in the lakes, and if they're meeting their management goals to try to help keep good quality catch rates in those lakes. And they put that data up on our Game Fish and Parks website under the fishing tab, where folks can look and see where the walleye numbers are great for this fall, where they might plan an ice fishing trip, or next summer's trips to come out and have some good fishing. But then they also use that data to see what lakes need additional stocking, or just to maintain do maintenance stocking to keep walleye and perch numbers at good quality levels. I know they've stocked Pelican Lake in 2018, 19, 21, 22 with walleyes and saugeyes, and we've really seen it take off, how fishing was, especially this spring and summer. We had folks coming from all over the region and even out of state to fish Pelican Lake, which is normally unheard of. It's been a long time since it's had a quality bite. So for them to invest in this lake, knowing that A, it's going to be good for the residents of Watertown that want to fish, and B, to help draw folks here, was huge. They also do a lot of stocking on a lot of the big name lakes, Dry 1 and Dry 2 in Clark County, Bitter and Waubay up in Day County, Lake Thompson, and your big known lakes that draw a lot of folks. And it's kind of nice. Watertown is the hub for that. If you want to go south one day, west one day, north one day to really hammer out a good fishing trip, this is a good place for folks to stay.
Right. We were speaking to pheasant hunters coming in on opening weekend, and they made several comments about just how how well maintained and upkept the land is, and what you guys do too to try to give the pheasants, the habitat they want to thrive and keep those numbers up. And what about on that side? What are some of the things you guys are doing?
Yeah, so both the wildlife crews and the state park crews do a lot of habitat management. Just here between Pelican Lake and the Lake Thompson Lakeside Use Area, which is somewhat connected. There's over 530 acres of land, and only about 88 of that is developed. The rest is open for public hunting, whether that's prairie restoration that parks crews have done. There's native prairie. We plant food plots for try to help give wildlife a little extra advantage. Plus, it draws hunters. Hunters like to see those food plots and hunt that. And we've really seen the number of pheasants in the last 2 years increase greatly. Even talking about it, the game production areas, the wildlife crews do a lot of management on their lands, whether that's noxious weed removal, doing prescribed burns to help boost those native flower and grass species that are beneficial to pheasants and other wildlife, tree removal, and restorations too, and food plots. They are very passionate about what they do and take a lot of pride in seeing folks out hunting and having success.
Yeah. What would be your, somebody's thinking about making a trip or planning a trip to this area, one on the hunting side, one on the fishing side, and one on the recreation side, your top three kind of places in each one, or just top in each category?
Right. I would say for hunting especially, to stay, if you're looking to come to Watertown, whether it's stay somewhere in town or out at the park, if you don't have a camper, you can stay at one of our camping cabins, and you're 20 minutes away from thousands of acres of public hunting land, whether you want to go and hunt some of the stuff we have right here at Pelican Lake, or if you're going to go over to the Long Lake area and chase pheasants, which it's an immaculate area over there, the Redland game production areas, and duck hunting over there too is very well between
don't be giving away my spots.
Yeah, between Long Lake area and Goose Lake. Fishing, I love to fish, and that's almost a hard decision for me because there's so many lakes within 10 minutes between Clear Lake, Goose Lake, Pelican, Campeska, Dry Lake up by Florence. those opportunities are very well. If folks are looking to say maybe you want to be 45 minutes from any lake, staying in Watertown is great because you can go down to Lake Ponset, Lake Thompson, Dry 2 down by Willow Lake. You can go up to Bitter and Waubay and catch fish on any of those lakes. They're great.
Yeah, that's great. What about on the recreation side? If someone's coming to take more part in the boating, the beaches, what would be your pick there?
Oh yeah, Sandy Shore Recreation Area is a beach goer's delight. The water on Lake Campeska is crystal clear. The beach at Sandy Shore is just a pristine sand beach like you'd think you'd see on the ocean. It's the nicest beach in northeast South Dakota. There's no rocks, no weeds, and that place is packed. People know about it. The campground over at Sandy Shore is per occupancy base is one of the highest in the whole state of South Dakota. Wow. Those campsites push 115, 120 nights a year. For example, campsites at Pelican are average about 70 nights a year, which is still, those are great numbers when you think between our busy season is Memorial Day to Labor Day. That's only really 13 weeks of heavy use.
Yeah.
And so that's booked all summer long. But the folks that come out to that beach, even on a Wednesday, middle of the week, and you'll go out to Sandy Shore and see 20, 30 vehicles parked there of kids playing in the water and having a good time. And then you go out on a crazy day like 4th of July and you can't even see grass in the park for vehicles parked out there. It's pretty awesome that the public really knows that's a great place to go.
Yeah. What's one thing that the people might not know that GFP does or takes part in? Like one unique thing they might not know.
So a lot of folks don't realize that we actually work all year round. There's full-time staff at all of our state parks, and I always joke it's 6 months of busy, 3 months of recovery, and 3 months of preparation. So come fall is when we're doing all our tree work between removing species such as green ash right now with emerald ash borer coming through, or lifting up tree canopies to make sure campers don't back into them next summer. And general park cleanup in the wintertime, we actually plow the parks to make sure that our parks stay open. We get a lot of folks that come out to walk daily, cross-country ski, do snowshoeing. And our naturalist puts on programs for all that stuff too. We have checkout equipment of cross-country skis and snowshoes, and she does programs for folks that want to learn how to use that stuff, and also does ice fishing programs. Our park staff, like I said, we take care of boat ramps in a number of the counties around here, and so we're out plowing snow in those parking lots and ramps to make sure folks can get a boat in or get their ice shack on dry too if they want to go up to Bitter Lake, small lakes in the area. We're always keeping those accesses clean, and trying to find summer help. It's always a big winter task. Preparation for the next couple years happens in the wintertime, a lot of trainings. And then spring, we're getting ready to open up. Things start leafing out. We've got comfort stations that we have to open up, make sure that they're ready to go for the public. And then we start planting trees in the spring. That's also a huge undertaking. We remove trees in the fall. We got to plant new trees in the spring. One of the projects I'm very proud of that we've been able to get budgeted between last year and this coming year, spring of 25, we're planting a total of 2,650 trees out just off our east campground area to add some diversity to the area. It's a lot of prairie right now. It's going to be pretty neat to add that woody aspect of it where trails wind through it and add just a change of scenery for folks. It's improved habitat for other wildlife species and opens the door to provide additional opportunities in the future. So I think folks, when you say you work for state parks, they think, oh, you work at the entrance booth selling our entrance licenses and clean bathrooms, and they don't really see all the actual behind the scenes grounds, facilities, and landscaping work that we do.
Why Watertown?
I love it here. Especially Pelican Lake, it just it provides so many opportunities. You get a beautiful day like today if you want to take the boat out and go for a joyride, or you want to hike the trails. We never know when it's going to rain or be inclement weather. It's 10 minutes and you're right in town. If the family wants to go shopping, see a movie, explore the Redland Arts Center or any of the other arts or historic buildings and opportunities in town. It's just a hub. I'm an outdoorsman as well, and so for myself, for folks that are coming out to the park, you're 3 minutes away from quality pheasant hunting, duck hunting, deer hunting, the fishing opportunities. They're endless. That's, for a lot of people, the hardest decision in the morning is what lake to go or what field to hit.
That's very true. You mentioned the Redland Arts Center, and there's also, I believe, the zoo. You guys have conservation programs and connections with. Just explain why that's so important and what you guys do there.
Yeah, so kind of as I said earlier, we want to connect kids and families to the outdoors, and working together with the community, because there is such a big population base of kids out there. It makes it easy. They don't have to find, in the fall or spring, busing to do field trips out here. We can go to town, or in the summertime, kids might be in daycare or other facilities where they go out and do different trips around town. We can work together and do fishing programs, especially at like the Redland Center ponds where Game Fish and Park stocks trout, to try to make quality, easy opportunities to get kids to catch fish and get hooked, if you will. Third Avenue Pond and McLaughlin Ponds, they do stocking to make easy, close programming. And then trying to work with Watertown Parks and Rec on programs in town, whether it's introduction to archery or cooperative hiking programs and other outdoor skills, and doing that as well on the conservation side with the zoo. It's pretty awesome being a part of this community.
Trivia time. A couple questions, testing your knowledge on South Dakota Game Fish and Parks. How many state parks are there in South Dakota?
So technically that could be a trick question. There's only 13 state parks in South Dakota. There's a difference between parks and recreation areas.
Okay.
So there's 72 total across our system between nature areas, state parks, and recreation areas. So with state parks, they have to have some cultural or historical significance.
Okay.
So Hartford Beach State Park, one of the parks that I run, it's actually was a place where Native Americans used to go there back 10 to 15,000 years ago to use the lake. It was an area of safety, kind of an area and also an area that they would gather and meditate. Come the 1800s, there was trappers that moved into the areas and did a lot of trade with the Native Americans. There's still foundations of trapper cabins down below. And then Native Americans still held powwows there through the 30s and 40s. So it was just a big culturally significant area. And that was actually one of the first state parks that was declared in the 1940s.
Wow.
The state parks offer the same opportunities as the recreation areas, but like Pelican just does not have that cultural or historical significance.
Sure. Correct. I'm going to say you're right there. Which state and recreational area is the smallest and the largest in the state?
Well, Custer State Park is the largest state park in South Dakota. I can't remember off the top of my head how many thousand acres that is, but I think it's pretty well known, especially with the Buffalo Roundup. What a unique opportunity that any time of the year folks can drive through the wildlife loop and see buffalo, bighorn sheep, elk. The smallest state park, I believe, is either Sandy Shore or Lake Cochran Recreation Area. Sandy Shore only has 17 campsites. Lake Cochran has 30, but acre-wise, I believe that's the smallest.
Which one did you say is the smallest?
Lake Cochran.
According to Wikipedia, Sandy Shore is the 19 acres of this one.
Oh, yeah.
Shores. And you manage both of those?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many people, roughly, visit the South Dakota Parks and Rec system throughout the state each year?
Statewide, that's somewhere between 6.5 and 7 million visitors, which is just an incredible number to think of. I mean,
wow.
Like I said, between Pelican Lake and Sandy Shore, we're bringing in about 110,000 visitors. So to think of some of those numbers, it's incredible. Between Custer State Park, like we said, it usually brings in a couple million people a year. Lewis and Clark Recreation Area is another top 5 park. I mean, those parks are extremely busy with a lot of folks that are coming to camp for the experience. They're not so much your outdoorsy type people, but more families that are going on big vacations or going somewhere to hike, bike, relax on the lake. Very busy parks.
Well, we want to thank Josh for his insight around the parks and state parks, recreation areas. If you guys want to learn more about the GFP, their information will be below, and come check out one of the many great options they have. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.